guys, what's up? It's Katy Candy and the Droker here with another episode of From Comics to Cinemas podcast. For those of you who don't know, we are gamers on Twitch, and you can see the links to those channels in the description of this video and at the end of the video. So be sure to drop us a follow. Remember, you can catch the live recording of the show every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the Candyland Discord. So today we're going to be discussing the Irish mutant with a sonic scream. I hear he's a bit of a yeller.
Sorry. That was a good one. That was a good delivery. You got me. I'm sorry. I knew it was coming. You got me.
So good. Score 1. Katy 1. Droker 0.
That was good. Yeah, this is man, he's got a voice on him.
He sure does. And that sonic screamer we're talking about is, of course, the X-Men Banshee. So let's talk about, who Banshee is, a little bit about him in Interpol, his leadership in the X-Men, how he got a start in the X-Men, and his death.
Yeah, because of course nobody really stays. Well, nobody really stays dead, with a few exceptions.
I'm looking at you, Karen Page, Uncle Ben, Thomas and Martha Wayne.
Sometimes we just see it a lot, and we get traumatized as kids, and then we never get over it. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, we're just coming off of seeing the Batman, so,
Yeah.
All right, so who exactly is Banshee? Well, Banshee is actually Sean Cassidy. He lost his parents at a young age, so that kind of ties into what we just said a little bit.
Yeah.
He was left a large castle and fortune in what other place than Cassidy Keep, which that's such a cool name. Where do you live?
Really cool name.
Cassidy Keep.
It's got a cool cadence. Cassidy Keep. It's like two syllables then one. I don't know. It works. It sounds better than Batcave. Almost.
Listen, I'm just happy that I could say it.
Also, how many rich parents died in between the Marvel and DC universe and left behind kids? I mean, honestly.
It
seems like all of them.
There's a lot.
Man.
And then also his cousin Black Tom Cassidy also lived there with him. Now, he was actually left part of the fortune as well, but then they gave it all or Sean took it all.
Mm-hmm.
So when Sean was a young man, he went to a concert in Northern Ireland, and he missed the last train home. So he was actually trying to catch a ride home, and a corrupt policeman actually picks him up and thought he was scouting for the IRA, which was a thing back then.
Right.
And then this woman on a motorcycle kind of saves him, and her name was Maeve Rourke. And so they end up kind of going back, but as they're traveling back to Cassidy Keep, her bike becomes damaged, and Sean flies the two of them the rest of the way back to Cassidy Keep. Which, if you're, for me, if someone is like, I can fly us back, I'm like, why would you even ask me to give you why are you hitchhiking?
Because plot reasons. All right? Plot reasons.
Right? Why are you even hitchhiking?
It's like when you see Superman walking up the stairs with the Justice League, you're like, you could fly, right? Plot reasons.
It's just one of those things where you're just kind of like, why? So, once they're back at the castle, which, by the way, I need to point this out, leprechauns live under the castle, and, they're just like, yeah, that's fine.
It's the thing. It's just okay, look, Willy Wonka had Oompa Loompas, the Cassidy have leprechauns. It's just go with it, man. It's normal. They're just there.
It's one of those things, right, where you're just kind of like, wait, what?
This is a good character to talk about.
Yes, Brandon, there are leprechauns in the origin. Yeah, there's leprechauns there. They've always been there.
Legit.
Even when he was a kid, they were there. So, yeah. So anyway, Sean introduces Maeve to his cousin Tom, and both are actually smitten by her. They both kind of really want her, but she actually ends up choosing Sean, and then eventually they're married. So shortly after their marriage, Sean, he's always been kind of working for Interpol, but he is sent on a mission for 4 months. And while he's gone, Maeve discovers that she's pregnant and gives birth to their daughter, Teresa Cassidy, who we'll talk about later on because she's important. And then not long after she had Teresa, Maeve is killed after a bomb exploded, and Tom agrees to take care of Teresa. But then Sean returns home, learns about the death of his wife, and is furious at Tom for not taking care of Maeve. A fight ensues, and Sean actually breaks Tom's leg before Tom can tell him about Teresa. So now Tom is furious with Sean, and in order to get revenge upon him, Tom vows never to tell Sean about Teresa. And so he basically hid his daughter from him.
Yeah, which is really, really messed up. But I mean, family feud, bad blood. And this is, I believe, where he gets his limp and why he walks around with, I forget the name of it, excuse me, but it's actually, you see it in the movie, even if you guys have ever seen Gangs of New York. The big Irish dude that like has the big staff with like the round head. He actually what's his name? That's what he starts to carry him. He uses that actually quite often as a weapon. Tom Cassidy does. So it's like a cool like dual origin story there.
It is. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So then things get wowed for Sean, right? So he starts to bury himself in his work after Maeve is killed. And he believes that there is a serial killer on the loose, but his superiors don't believe that there is an actual serial killer out there. So basically, Sean goes rogue to catch the killer. And while searching for him, a mysterious man tells Sean that the killer is at Cassidy Keep and a genetic war is on the rise. Now, years later, we actually learn that this mysterious man is actually none other than Magneto. And so finally, Inspector Marguerite Devereaux, who is one of Sean's superiors, believes Sean about the killer and joins him at Cassidy Keep. So who was this killer? And I love this. I love this so much. It's so good. So he was a Russian named Arkady, and he wants to be killed so he no longer is like a puppet for the Russian government. Now, Sean actually refuses. He doesn't want to kill him, even though Arkady wants to die. So Arkady infects Devereaux with his death spore virus.
Sound familiar?
Sounds very familiar. Now, Sean empties his gun on the man, but the man doesn't die. And Arkady thought he was going to prison, but he was actually put in a special ops program and became none other than Omega Red.
That's right.
So
another origin tied to Cassidy, which is cool.
It's so cool. So yeah, he's basically the reason Omega Red exists.
And then Omega Red becomes one of the, especially if you played the game that we played, everybody loved him and used him, and he was a really good character. But yeah, it was and he's another character we could probably do an entire show on. But he's really cool. He's really cool.
He's an awesome character. We should definitely do one on Omega Red.
Maybe we should do one on like the whole program, you can talk about Omega Red, Wolverine, all of them.
Oh yes,
the programs.
Yeah, let's do that. That would be fun. Yeah. We could do it like a part series.
Yeah. Because and it's just interesting that you're getting yet another. Like I said, I love that he's like Banshee is kind of tied in and woven into this story arc, so early on, and like later on, obviously he kind of goes through something terrible, but early on he's got like a couple origins going on, and he's actually ready. He's already met Magneto. He's trying to Omega Red, and like you're already like, oh man, these are heavy hitters. Like, oh, this guy.
So, yeah, he's pretty cool, and he actually first appeared in X-Men number 28, The Wail of the Banshee, in 1967, created by Roy Thomas, Warner Roth, and the great Stan Lee. And it was actually reprinted in Essential Classic X-Men Volume 2. And the cool thing about this is Banshee actually kind of starts off as a foe to the X-Men, and he and Ogre are working for the Factor 3. So while Ogre is off searching for the X-Men, Banshee decides to go into a town and steal a priceless painting called The Gaelic Landscape. Now, while he's off thieving, Professor X hooks up Cerebro and begins to look for mutant activity, which he discovers Banshee is now stealing imported tobacco. Now,
why not?
Yeah, right? I mean, hey, look, he's got good taste.
I guess he didn't care about preserving the throat. I don't know. I read that. I was like, really? How do you go from art to tobacco? Right, whatever, bro.
Now, Ogre and Banshee actually attempt to kidnap Professor X, but are defeated, and Banshee is captured by the X-Men, where they reveal to him that he's actually being controlled by Ogre through one of his many gadgets. So it's kind of cool. He starts off as a foe, but he's not really a foe because he's being mind controlled. And poor Banshee. Yeah. Banshee gets mind controlled.
Quite a bit, actually, it seems. Dude, Cat can't get a break.
He really can't. It's kind of sad. So then in Giant-Sized X-Men #1, Deadly Genesis in 1975, Banshee actually joins the X-Men. And this is a cool issue because it serves as a link between the old X-Men, who are, of course, Cyclops, Angel, not Archangel, not yet.
Right. Angel.
Just Angel.
Right.
Iceman, Marvel Girl, Lorna Dane, and Havoc. Now, Beast is part of the original X-Men, but he had left the X-Men before this mission. And then the new X-Men would be Nightcrawler, Wolverine, Storm, Colossus, Thunderbird, Banshee, and Sunfire. Now, in this issue, this is a really good issue. We kind of get the feeling of Krakoa. So Cyclops proceeds to tell the group that after the mission, the only thing he could remember is that he woke up without any powers inside the jet, and he basically autopiloted the X-Jet back to the mansion. So he had no memory of what happened. So Banshee and the rest of the new X-Men, led by Cyclops, head off to Krakoa, and there they are divided into pairs, and each pair has a battle. So it's kind of funny the things that they battle. So Cyclops and Thunderbird defeat a living tree. Storm and Colossus defeat an avalanche of living rocks. What? Nightcrawler and Sunfire must battle giant birds, and Banshee and Wolverine have to defeat 2 giant lobsters.
Rock lobster. Sorry.
That's just like that's exactly what I thought when I was reading that.
I read that and I was like, really? Because this is what I'm picturing in my head right now, and this is great. Because all I can picture of is just Banshee's just banter with Wolverine and lobsters, and to me, it's hysterical. I don't know. I was reading over this issue and I was doing some research and I was like, "What? This is off the rails great. I need to buy this. I need to own this. What is happening?" I love this. I love everything about this.
It's so funny. Now, after winning their respected battles, the new X-Men convene at a temple located in the middle of the island where they find Iceman, Marvel Girl, Angel, Lorna, and Havoc, who are all trapped on Roots. Now, it is here where Havoc tells Cyclops that the island is actually alive and it wants to capture them in order to feed itself. So then the X-Men, they defeat Krakoa by basically kind of blowing it up. So now there is one really cool thing about this is it's part of one of the biggest retcons in Marvel history. I would say it's probably second to Phoenix. I would say it's probably second to the Phoenix retcon. So in this retcon, we actually learn about Vulcan, who is of course Cyclops' brother. Krakoa wasn't a sentient life form, but a collection of impulses and urges stemming from radiation. Because why not? By the way, that's not how radiation works, but I'm not going to go there.
It is too. It's the Zeta radiation. I made it up. I don't know if that's the thing.
The Zeta. Oh my god.
I don't know.
The new X-Men were actually the third group of mutants to be sent out. The second group was Vulcan, Petra, Sway, and Darwin, and they actually freed Cyclops. And then finally, and most important, this was the beginning of the dissolution of the relationship between Cyclops and Professor X. So this is the reason, like, their friendship kind of started to end.
I never really liked Cyclops. I got to be honest. Like, full disclosure, never really liked the character Cyclops. in any story arc I've ever read with him, I've just never liked him. I'm one of those guys, and I'm sorry. I don't know what it is. He's always rubbed me the wrong way. I don't know. I'm probably gonna cause a storm in chat, but like it is. I just never liked him. I never could get. He's a character I could never get a hold of. I just never. I don't know, man.
Just not a fan.
I know he's important. He's been in a lot of the story arcs that I've read, which are very few, to be honest with you. But like, it's just, never really. Just never really hit me the right way. I don't know. And then after learning like what happens later with like the Phoenix Force and all that, I'm like,
yeah.
I don't know if I like you much. So, but yeah, it's insane that even like, because coming from DC, we have our own share of retcons, but Marvel, learning about this one in Marvel, I was like, oh wow, they actually they full sent it.
They did. They full send retcon.
Yeah, crazy.
So, and what's really cool about Banshee is he and Emma Frost became headmasters at Xavier's new school and actually created Generation X. And, well, within the first few months of the creation of Generation X, guess who returns? Looking for some revenge.
Blue Beetle. No.
Jaime Reyes for the win! No. It is than Omega Red.
That's right, he's back.
He's back, and he blamed Banshee for his creation, which, I mean,
which makes sense.
He's not wrong. Now, Omega Red nearly killed Banshee, but
that's your girl, though. That's your girl. What happened?
I don't want to talk about it.
Alma Glue?
I don't want to talk about it.
Oh, man. Yes. Oh, man.
All right. Now, Omega Red nearly killed Banshee, but Emma held his life energies together telepathically, and Chamber was able to defeat Omega Red since he's actually immune to Omega's death spores. Now, shortly after this, Tom Cassidy escaped from prison, and lo and behold, he's now more plant than human. Because why not? Right? Right. Now, because he believes Sean took Teresa away from him, he didn't. Teresa actually found him, and she at first wanted to kind of help Tom, right? Kind of stop him from being so villainous. But Sean kind of talked her out of it. And she's actually Siren, for those of you who don't know, the X-Men Siren. So Tom decides that since Sean took Teresa away from him, he's going to take Generation X away from Sean. So Tom ordered Sean to kill Emma, or else he would never return the students to Sean. Now Sean refuses, but Emma forces him to because she didn't want to be responsible for the death of more children, because not long before that, a lot of students.
Yeah. The big bad happened.
Yeah. So Tom thinks that Emma is dead. Tom then reveals that he was never going to return the children, and the only Generation X member who wasn't captured was Penance, and he managed to stop Tom long enough for Banshee to escape. Now, Emma actually was not dead, and she and Banshee made plans to find the children Tom had kidnapped. The only problem was they had to stay undercover because Operation Zero Tolerance had been activated, and there were Sentinels everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So basically all hope appeared to be lost, right? Like, they can't really use all of their resources to find where Tom and the kids are. Sentinels are out. So it seems like hope is all lost. But then Template appears and offers them a deal. In return for Penance, he would reveal where the children were. Now, Banshee disagreed with the deal, and Emma pretended to agree, but she really didn't agree. And Banshee thought she actually agreed, and he basically got mad, said some nasty stuff to Emma, told her to, keep away from the school. Now, fortunately, Generation X was able to find their way home, and Banshee decided to go visit Moira McTaggart on Muir Island, which him and Moira had a fling going on. And
correct.
At this point in time, she was the only non-mutant with the legacy virus, and she vowed to lock herself in her lab until she could find a cure. But unfortunately, she was unable to do that because Mystique blew up the lab and killed her. So...
Because why not?
Yeah, why not, right? So when Banshee returned back to the mansion, Emma actually punched him in the face. For how he treated her. He apologized, and then they kind of went on their normal duties. But Banshee then called the facility on Muir Island looking to talk to Moira, and it ended up going to Xavier's line, and that's when he found out that Moira was dead. And he took her death really hard. Like, he began drinking heavily. Him and Emma were not getting along, and this actually led to Generation X disbanding. So right. it's kind of sad, but yeah, they would go back and forth, him and Emma, a lot.
Yeah, there was and then of course researching this, we find the Generation X film, which came out in '96, which I mean, it's a thing. It's rough. I want to watch the full thing. I've seen a couple of clips. Like, I know Katy has as well, and it is 100% '90s. It is 100%
cheesy.
It's super cheesy. I know I mean, it's just they like we were talking before the show. They at least tried to get the look of Emma Frost right, and they at least had Banshee's Irish accent in there. It was a pretty thick accent.
It was,
but it was the thing. Jeremy Ratchford was actually the actor in it, and he was the same guy who voiced it in the X-Men show. So I'm sure they were trying to ride that popularity of him, from the show into the movie. But man, I didn't know it was a thing. I want to watch the whole thing, but just looking at the cover right now, it's just, I mean, God, it looks so 90s.
It's very 90s.
It looks like Hackers. It looks like the cover of Hackers. I don't know if you guys have seen that movie, but it gives me that vibe completely, and I'm sure it's terribly great. I'm sure it is. It's got Jubilee in it. It's I don't know, man. It's got M in it. Like, it looks terrible, but I want to watch it.
I feel like we need to watch it.
Maybe we'll watch party it. I don't know.
We gotta find it and watch it 100%.
Yeah, because it looks awful. But so here's the plot: a group of young mutants, humans with genetic variation that gives them superpowers and makes them feared by the population at large, begin training at a school for heroes. Their studies are interrupted when they must rescue one of their own from a mad scientist who can enter others' dreams. So, yeah, Matt Fewer is actually the villain, and I don't know if you guys know him, but he was in a bunch of stuff back in the '90s. He was actually in Star Trek, a couple episodes of Star Trek. Yeah, he was all over the place. But it's it's a thing. Just fun fact, in case you guys were wondering if that's Banshee's ever been in a movie. Yeah, it was actually been in, of course, X-Men First Class as well. But, yeah, early on, in like crazy cheesy film.
Very cheesy.
But he eventually stops drinking, and he moves on, doesn't he?
Yeah, he moves on. He gives up alcohol, and he founds the X-Corps, not to be confused with X-Corporation.
Right.
X-Corps was supposed to police mutant activities. It consisted of some brainwashed members of the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants and some old Generation X members. So you had Avalanche, Blob, Fever Pitch, Jubilee, M, and Husk. Now, not long after X-Corps is founded, this poor guy, he can't keep a team together.
He can, man. He tries.
He tries. Mystique disguises herself as Surge, and she infiltrates the X-Corps and frees Mastermind and some other former villains. Now, there's a big battle that happens. Sunpry is killed, and Banshee has his throat slit by Mystique.
Yeah.
And so this is very problematic for Banshee because with his throat being slit, he can't use his mutant mutant powers.
Yes. Words.
Now, of course, the Generation X members stopped the Brotherhood, but then X Corps disbanded.
Yeah, and it's funny because I remember this as a kid. I remember like before this, and then after all of a sudden like Banshee didn't have his powers a little bit, and like so because I had some X Corps and I had some of the X-Men stuff because I was really into the X-Men as a kid. And the only Marvel thing I really remember reading was X-Men and Spider-Man, really. But yeah, I remember this being a thing. My cousins and I talking about it, and it was like we always talked about like this was like the same thing as like a lead singer getting like something happened to his throat because like it's literally where his entire power comes from. It's just like that's where it all happens, and like he has some psionic stuff going on where like he can like put people to sleep like with like sound waves, like hypnotism and stuff like that. He actually can control a lot of different kinds of sounds with his throat.
And he can like tune
various ways.
Yeah, he can like tune stuff out too, and like he's great at eavesdropping.
Correct. He can like echolocate as well.
Like a bat.
Yeah. It always comes back to the bat. But yeah, it's insane like how they took like oh okay, the guy that can scream, right? But like if you really go into his powers, it's insane how his power is used. If you look him up on the Marvel website, his energy is 7 out of 7 ranking on the power scale. So like dude's extremely powerful, but he obviously is not strong-minded because this is like the 3rd or 4th time now he's got his mind taken over, and it's like this poor guy, man. It's a recurring thing with him, and he just can't catch a break.
He really can't. He really can't. Like, yeah, he's shielded from like he can shield himself from like loud noises, but like he can actually like if his focus is broken, he can hurt himself with his own scream.
Correct. Yeah, he's injured himself before by going too far, basically. Yeah. It's just, and then like I don't know so can he fly just by screaming all the time, or was that like a later thing? Because like when he flew what's her face to the castle right early on, was he screaming the whole way? Because if you watch the animated show, he's got to scream to fly.
Yeah, he's got to scream to fly.
Okay.
So yeah, and when he flies, he can only carry one other person.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. He can't like he's which I thought was like which they kind of touched on in the First Class movie.
Yeah.
I forget who he grabbed off the ship, but he grabs him off the ship when he jumped off. And it's really funny because it's actually Charles was trying to get his powers out, but it was actually Eric. It was actually Magneto when he pushed him off the satellite disc. It got him to fly. So
I mean, you would scream too, falling from that height.
Yeah, it was really cool, man. So I like that version of Banshee we got in that movie. I thought that was really cool. I totally forgot about it. We had to go back and like rewatch some of the clips a couple days ago because I was like, I think we already got him in a movie, right?
We did.
And I forgot. And I was like, oh yeah, that's right. He was this cat. And then the whole movie, I'm probably gonna go watch that movie again because I feel like I liked that movie. I just don't remember liking that movie. So
it was one of the better ones, but.
Yeah, I kind of flushed all the X-Men movies together into just like the bad category into my head, and I kind of feel like that's doing them an injustice right now, and I probably should go back and watch them individually and make my mind up again because I feel like they're going to be important coming up. So
yeah, I feel like they will too, to be honest.
I hope we get a new version of Banshee. I'm not going to lie. I feel like he's extremely important. I think he's got really cool powers that I want to see more expanded on in this universe, especially in MCU.
He's very important, especially, I mean, even though like he can't keep a team together, like he is an important member. He's he is an important member of the X-Men, and he's a great hero. He's really a complicated hero. Like he's had a lot of death.
A lot of death. He struggles with addiction. Like that's something we can all relate to, especially me personally. Like it's one of those things like. He's a cool character, and of course we had to talk about him for St. Patrick's Day, right? Like, we had to bring it up. Like we figured we would, and this is like one of those characters that now that I know what I know, I'm like, yeah, okay, he was way more important than I thought. He wasn't just some side character. Like he's actually ingrained into like the foundation of the X-Men, essentially.
Yeah.
So,
which is really cool. Yeah, and I think a lot of people don't realize that about it. Like when people think of X-Men, they always think Storm, Professor X, Cyclops, Jean.
Big hitters.
Yeah, they think of the heavy hitters. They don't think of the other ones who are important characters like Banshee, like Emma Frost, like Colossus. They don't think of those characters so much.
Yeah. It's interesting, and I don't know. I love learning about him. Like I said, I hope we get to see a new version of him because I think that would be really cool. I don't know how.
I would love it if we did, and especially if Marvel's deciding to go the mutant route now, right? start doing some mutant stuff and getting the X-Men and Generation X and that sort of thing, I think we could definitely see him in it.
Also, why was everything in the 90s Generation X? Anybody? Everything was just called Generation X, and like everything was. I don't...
Pepsi.
Dude, there was so much Generation X hype in the 90s. I don't know. Whatever. It's a thing.
All right, so poor Banshee has died a couple times.
Yeah, all good things must come to an end, right?
Or do they?
Maybe.
Because comics.
Because exactly.
So now Banshee's vocal cords are starting to heal, right? They're not totally completely healed, but they're getting there. And Beast contacts Banshee, who is on Muir Island, about Moira and if she had any files that might give them an idea about where Professor X had disappeared to, because now Professor X is gone. No one knows where he's at.
Yep.
So Banshee's there, and he sees a figure who looks like Moira, and he ends up following this figure to a cabin where the figure opens a door and then fades into thin air. And it's like... Dun, dun, dun. Now Banshee enters the cabin where he sees a computer and he pulls a CD. Yes, kids, a CD-ROM.
That's right. That's a thing.
That's a thing. Google it if you don't know what it is.
Thumb drive.
So he finds the CD from the shelf and it reads, Charles Xavier's notes. Important. So it's got to be important, right? Got to be important.
You think.
So he plays the disc, and while he's watching the disc, the Moira figure badmouths Charles and curses him. So you're like, what's going on here?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So now Banshee, he's got the CD and he catches a plane back to America. And while he's on the plane, he's talking to Nightcrawler and he tells Nightcrawler that he doesn't know what the CD means. But while he's having this conversation, Vulcan is listening from the Blackbird, which is another jet. And Nightcrawler and Wolverine then leave the mansion to pick up Banshee. Now, while the plane is flying, Banshee gets his luggage from the overhead compartment and is pretty much going to jump out of the plane to meet Nightcrawler and Wolverine. So it's just, first of all, that's going to completely depressurize the cabin. Everyone on that plane is going to die.
Yes, that is the one of many things wrong with this part of the story. Well, second of all, Banshee can fly. Why is he in a plane?
Also,
he doesn't need a plane.
Well,
that's right. His vocal cords. I know, but still. Still.
So, someone notices the other jet behind them, and Banshee realizes that it's the Blackbird, and he basically, like Superman style, opens up his clothes, revealing his suit underneath, and jumps from the moving plane.
He full sense and commits.
Well, he wants to try to stop the Blackbird, right? So he tries to use his sonic scream on the Blackbird to stop it, but his voice is still damaged from when Mystique slit his throat, and he fails. The two planes collide, and Banshee smashes through the window of the Blackbird, and he was buried at the Institute next to Sway and Petra. So
yeah. So he got hit by a plane. Like, a hell of a way to die.
Did it?
It's just one of those things.
Didn't Moon Knight fly a plane at Taskmaster?
Marvel just likes to throw planes at people. I don't know what their issue is, and it was a thing back then. I don't know. They're just why not just throw a plane at it? That's reasons.
Because reasons. Why not?
Just reasons.
What's the worst that could happen?
Yeah.
I feel like that whole plan was flawed from the start.
It's tragic. It really is a tragic death, but also at the same time, what the hell? Like, come on, guys. The guy can fly. You'd think he could. You could think he would maybe learn how to fall with style a little better. You know what I mean? Like, I don't.
He's not Buzz Lightyear.
Well, maybe he needed to be.
Maybe.
Yeah, exactly. They just exactly. Everybody doesn't matter, dude. What got just a bunch of planes in the garage back home. Doesn't matter if we burn this one. I guess in this story, whatever.
These
But
ones
anyway,
expendable. These ones not.
yeah, I had to look up who Sway and Petra were too. There's so many things I had to look up. It was crazy, but yeah, he doesn't stay dead for long.
No, he doesn't because why, Dro? Is it something called necrotia?
Yeah, it unfortunately is, and I had to look up this crazy cross event that involved everything from the mutants ever, and it's insane that he actually, like many other mutants before him, he becomes a Four Horseman.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
And
Oh
he's not one of the, because we for those of you who don't know, that's how Archangel became Archangel, was he became a horseman of apocalypse.
no.
So with Necrotia, Selene resurrected Banshee as part of Necrotia and was forced to act under Eli Bard through the transmitted virus to basically to feed her and this, that, and the other. It's a cool story, but the horseman is really
The important part.
the important part. So the the Apocalypse twins, Eamon and Uriel. I'm so bad at pronouncing the first name.
That's exactly how I in my head sounds, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, so they resurrect Banshee along with Dakin, Grim Reaper, and Sentry to serve as one of their horsemen of death. And so how they did this was they used the life and death seeds that they harvested from a celestial using Jarnbornj?
I'm gonna say
Yambjorn?
Yeah, two soft J's. I don't know, but this I had learned that was what he wielded before he got Mjolnir, and was actually originally supposed to be for a Valkyrie, the axe.
Oh,
Was
that's what that is. Yeah.
So originally it was rated for the first Valkyrie, Runa, and the same dwarven forge that made all the weapons. It was like the precursor to that. So that was what he was wielding, but that's what they used to harvest out of a celestial, which is like, that's a heck of an axe tool to be used harvesting stuff from a celestial. That's a whole lot of awesome. Like, big giant celestial. Yeah, I'm just using Yambjorn. No big deal. Cool. Like, okay.
Don't mind me. I'm just gonna take your life and death seeds.
Yeah.
It's fine.
So that's
it's fine.
I wonder if we're gonna see that in the upcoming Love and Thunder, or maybe a call to it. I don't know. I feel like we would have by now, but hopefully we get to see that because that's kind of cool.
It's really cool.
Yeah, that's cool axe.
And I love that these four, like Dakin, Grim Reaper,
Kenny Reaper, Sentry. Oh,
yeah.
We're big Sentry fans here.
We are
on this
big
podcast.
Sentry.
Yes.
We're big Keanu Reeves as Sentry.
It's gonna be a thing.
I'm gonna try to make it a thing. I've been trying for a long time, and it's not happening.
We'll put it on Twitter and cause a stir, right? That's how you get things done nowadays.
I would love to see them do Apocalypse, right?
Oh.
And do it with the four of them. I think it would be really cool.
Ooh, that's a good idea. Especially Dak. Oh, Dakin's such a cool character.
Dakin's a really cool
Wolverine's
character.
edgier son. Like, how could you make a character like, we're gonna make an edgy Wolverine? Like, how could you make Wolverine, more edgy? All right, just you wait. Like, hold my beer.
Hold my beer. That's exactly what that is.
Wolverine with daddy issues. Oh, it's just, whoa. And then Grim Reaper, I don't know a whole lot about Grim Reaper. I gotta be honest, but I know more about Sentry and Dakin than and of course now Banshee more than the other. Grim Reaper, I'm not really familiar with, if I'm being honest. So
he's a pretty cool character, and I really want to read more of them as the Four Horsemen of Apocalypse, because I haven't had a chance to read too much about them, and I'm kind of disappointed in myself about that. Because like
Sentry.
Yeah, Sentry is such a cool character, and I know we should probably do a podcast on him and Void.
I was just gonna say that.
Before I go off on this spiel. But like he can basically be played like a couple of ways, and I really hope the way that if they ever introduce him into the MCU, is they go with a man who doesn't know about the darkness that's inside him, but knows that there is something there and that he doesn't want it to get out. So
yeah, that would be, I agree. I agree.
So I would love to see Sentry in the MCU as with Keanu Reeves playing him.
Yeah.
But yeah, Banshee, they could do a lot with Banshee. They could do a lot with mutants in general in the MCU, and like I really don't want to see another like X-Men style origin story. Like we've seen that so many times. Like I
Yeah.
don't think we need to see that, but I would love to see like a Generation X type deal or an X Corps type deal where they have, you know, him and Emma with Generation X, but like I'm just an Emma stan, so
Yeah. There was another time he was actually resurrected too. I think it was during the Chaos War or
Oh yeah.
Chaos War story arc. Which if you guys read DC, it's kind of similar to the Brightest Day, Darkest Night, where like a bunch of heroes and villains just get resurrected. Um, but I think in Marvel, the difference was Marvel. Some of them stayed alive actually after the
Yes.
Chaos War. Whereas in DC, I think they went back to they went back to the grave. But in DC, it involved the whole Lantern Corps too, because like the Black Hand resurrected a bunch of stuff, and then everybody got rings, and this was like Hercules had to die and then be like reborn stronger to fight like this crazy. I was just getting caught up when Amadeus Cho's involved in it. Thor's there, the Chaos King. It's just crazy story. I was like, I need to read this, man. This looks insane. But yeah, it's. I'm not a fan of the whole Amadeus Cho thing, but this might be my first into it because it involves Hades as well. Like Hades resurrects everybody, like Ares, like Deathcry, Zoo, Banshee gets resurrected, like Thunderbird, Vision, Yellow Jacket. Like it's just, I don't know, it's crazy. I don't know, something called what the God Squad's created, which is Amadeus Cho, Hellstorm, Galactus,
Oh
Cersei, Silver Surfer,
yeah.
Thor, and Venus, and like it's just like what?
I forgot about the God
Well, like
Squad.
what? This is the most overpowered team ever.
It's wild.
It looks so. This is an insane story, and like you got a Hercules. Like I said, Hercules had to like basically had to get killed and be resurrected in like his formal like final god form and like take him on, and it's insane. It is an insane story. And I'm like I kind of need to go. I need to read it. I need to read it and get into it because it looks so good.
I forgot about the God Squad. Which, by the
Yeah, the
way,
God
talk
Squad.
about a name, right?
Tell me you're not humble without telling me you're not humble. No, but I mean it made sense because some of them were literally gods. Like
Mm-hmm.
it, come on, like they were literal gods in that squad.
Which,
Just
oh my god, my
crazy.
voice just cracked.
Nightmare actually gets killed in this story arc.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Nightmare is, whew,
Yeah.
he's a big bad.
Yeah, Nightmare's not he's not a little
Mm-mm.
he's not weak.
No, and I know like when the first like rumblings of Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness were out
Mhm.
there, everyone was like, including myself, was like, we're gonna get introduced to Nightmare. Right, we're gonna get introduced to the nightmare dimension, and I was like, and then I went on a jump, man, and I was like, then we're gonna get Annihilation.
Full send candy in full effect.
I did too. I was like, this is gonna happen. This is gonna happen. Oh my god, Annihilation! Everyone's gonna come together. It's gonna be amazing. And then no,
Nah, they said nah.
no, I really don't think that's happening. But that was another podcast.
Yeah, and then did we talk about Silver Banshee, the DC equivalent?
Oh no, we didn't.
So there's the DC equivalent is Silver Banshee, like not too far of a name. She's a villain. Similar origin. She has a castle between midway between Scotland and Ireland. Her family's owned. It's called Castle Browen. That's the McDouglas, I guess, is like her last name. So I guess she's not really Irish or Scottish. She's like they've been there forever before they were, Ireland and Scotland. So basically, not too far off the similar origin, right?
But
It's
no
pretty much the same
leprechauns.
exact powers. To the almost to the T. But yeah, so that's just and she looks really crazy. She has like almost like Day of the Dead, like corpse paint and makeup all over her. She's black and white, usually a black and white suit. Um, yeah, kind of cool. But yeah, it was definitely copy my homework, but make it look different
Yeah.
situation. It seems like so.
Which, like, when I was like reading stuff, I was like, Silver Banshee, and then like I didn't find anything about Silver Banshee in Marvel, so I was like, what is this? Is this like a? And I never even thought to like look at DC for Silver
Yeah.
Banshee.
Yeah, and I was like, I know this name. That's why I was like, I know there's a Banshee in DC. I was like, I had to look it up though, because I actually thought it was gonna be a hero, but yeah, villain makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
that's again copying but slightly changing, right?
And that happens a lot between, I mean, look at Man Thing and Swamp Thing.
Yeah,
You know, I mean, that's just, it doesn't matter which one came first. They're both different in their own ways, but I mean, they very similar as well, right? So it happens a lot, especially between the two. But hey, that's okay. That's better for us as fans. We get more of what we know to
Yep.
choose from. So hey, that's
Yeah,
just variety as far as I'm concerned.
exactly. Hyperion and
Yeah,
Superman. So, which
yeah, yeah.
Aquaman and Namor.
Aquaman, Namor. I mean, the list literally goes on. I mean, it's
Not
great.
Batman and
Yeah.
Moon Knight.
No, no, yeah, definitely not Batman and Moon Knight. Unless there's a story arc where Bruce has 10 different personalities, which I'm pretty sure there might be, but I haven't read it. So, like, I know there's one where like they try to touch on like the entirety of the whole Batman thing. It happens inside of his head, inside of a padded room, and he's just locked up, and he's just a crazy person.
But still, not.
Yeah, but not Moon
No.
Knight.
Moon Knight literally stuffed someone in a coffin in his mind.
Yes, he did.
Right?
He locked him away. He said, "I got your consciousness. Goodbye. You're a vegetable." Like, yeah, Batman can't do that. No, no, not that I'm aware of, anyway.
No.
At least not Earth One Batman. I don't know. Maybe there's another version somewhere out there floating around that has mind powers. I don't. I haven't seen it. I don't want to see Bruce Wayne with mind powers. That sounds scary.
That sounds scary. Yeah. Then that might actually be Moon Knight.
Yeah, but yeah.
But
So
more scary.
it'll be interesting to see if they use him in the future. Moving forward in anything cinematic universe, now that it's rumored that we're going to be getting the mutants in MCU. So
I would love to
like
see
you said,
him.
I personally I would love to see another Emma Banshee team up,
Yeah.
but not Generation X.
Listen, I don't know who that chick was supposed to be playing, but it was not Emma Frost. Like
Oh man,
I
it was rough. It was rough to watch the clips that I watched. I'm not gonna lie, but I can't wait to see the whole thing.
when you sent them to me, I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be cool," and then I was like, "What? What?" So angry.
Yeah, it was. It's. I want to know. I didn't really look too much into it. I want to know if it was a straight to video movie because it says Fox presents. Yeah, it comes to Fox in a live action film. So I'm wondering if it was a straight to like tape movie.
I mean, I want
I,
to be like it was the 90s and like but I'm like there were a lot better movies in the 90s, really.
yeah,
Blade was in the 90s,
yeah. Which is a man.
which
That movie aged so well.
we will be talking about Blade.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I actually know a little bit about him, more than I knew about Banshee. I'll tell you that much, man. But it was shocking, right? But
Yeah, I never realized how involved Banshee was until we started digging, and then
yeah,
you see like how much he's really involved and everything, and he does have really cool powers, and you know they kind of showed them in X-Men First Class, but I would really like to see what they could do with that now, like
same.
to see how it would go now, and I think it would be really cool to see him on the big screen, or even if they did like I think what would be really cool would be a Generation X series, right?
Yeah, you could pump it out now, especially with the with how popular things are,
Mm-hmm.
and just maybe even, I mean, maybe even give us an intro to Banshee just to give us a siren. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Because
yeah,
she basically is the same. She wears the same costume. She like trying to look up her powers right now. I want to say she has the same powers and abilities. Does she not?
yeah. But I think
Yeah,
she
she
has.
does. Yeah, yeah.
I think she's got a little bit more, but not much. But yeah, it's pretty
Oh,
much.
she actually could control it a lot more.
Yeah,
She can. Yeah, she actually has like certain. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. She's. Yeah. She can. Oh, well, she probably got more training with it too. Let's be honest.
well, yeah, because she went at a
hmm
young age, right? She was
hmm
like a teenager,
hmm
so or a young teenager rather. So she definitely had more training than he did because he had really no training.
He was always mind controlled too. Rip.
Yeah, he was always,
Poor guy, dude. Poor guy.
He can't catch a break.
It is definitely a thing with him. It's like, all right, he's super powerful, but what's wrong? Well, he's pretty easily susceptible to mind control.
Which,
even though he
like,
can put people to sleep. But
yeah, like I'm kind of like, all right,
poor
so
guy.
the man can like control these different sonic frequencies.
Mm-hmm.
Mind control. Also, like, he's got like a psionic shield, right? Which is like basically a sound barrier type deal. So, like, if you punch him, right? Like, that's not gonna protect him.
No, yeah. Well, it's really funny you say that because even in the animated show, because like him and Tom Cassidy, like, they're immune basically to each other's effects. They so like they can't affect each other. So even in this show, they just like, let's just settle this with a fist fight. Then they're like, yeah, fine, blah blah blah. That's how family settles stuff. And it was really funny. I was like, really, these guys are just gonna throw down, like just start going fisticuffs.
Well, it's like
it was really cool.
It's like Havoc and Cyclops, right? They're both immune to each other's powers.
How else are you gonna settle it? Just start throwing fists, I guess, man. Screw it. Like,
which who doesn't love a good old fashioned fisticuffs sometimes?
Especially in a superhero setting, right? Because you're used to flying and lasers and all this kind of. It's good to see just some fist thrown. It's good to see it. It's good to see it. Or like when I think it's this thing I showed on stream the other day was when Alfred beats the crap out of Superman.
Yeah, because he takes the venom, right?
Yeah, he takes. I think it's like a pill, or it's like a variation that makes Alfred like super strong. It's like whatever. Bruce was working on some kind of, I forget what it was. It was some kind of serum or something. And yeah, Alfred just beats the crap out of Superman, and he headbutts him, gets him on the floor, and beats the poop out of him.
And tells him to never hurt his family again.
Yeah. I eat that kind of I eat that kind of stuff up, man. When they throw down, it gets at that point it's personal.
Yeah,
because like it's personal. It's that's how you know, man. So yeah, man, Banshee was a heck of a trip. I loved learning about him. I thought it was great. I had a good time. Like I said, there was so much information going across so many different stories with all the X-Corps, the X-Men.
And I mean, I love the
X-Factor.
X-Men. Right, like who doesn't love the X-Men if you've grown up with the comics? You may not like some of the members, right? But there's always like I always love the X-Men. I like all of them. Well, most of them.
Well, no, yeah. Like I said, I was never a Cyclops. Sorry.
Havoc.
Scar always teases me over that, but yeah.
Havoc over Cyclops any day.
I always liked Havoc. I always liked Vulcan.
Yeah, Vulcan was pretty cool.
I don't know, man. Scott Summers never did it for me, man. Never did it for me. I was always a Gambit stan anyway. I liked Gambit.
Gambit's a cool character. Plus, Scott's always involved in some sort of love triangle, rectangle, hexagon. I don't even know.
Yeah. And he's like, he's good, he's bad, he's good, he's bad. I don't...
He's whiny.
He's morally ambiguous.
He's morally ambiguous.
You don't know where he stands. That bothers me. Well, I guess now you do. It's probably more solidified now, but yeah, man. I was always more of a Gambit person. I was really hoping the Gambit movie was going to get made. Not with who it was going to get made with.
Yeah.
I just wanted a Gambit movie, period.
Well, the Gambit movie that is on YouTube, the actor who plays Gambit is really good. But everyone else, like, it took me a minute to figure out that chick was magic. And I was like, is this supposed to be magic? And like, I was like, what am I watching?
Yeah.
But yeah, I would love to see a Gambit movie. I think a Gambit movie would be great.
He's a cool character, man. Yeah, I've always, I don't know. As a kid, I was really into cards as a kid. I saw a character that I wanted to learn like magic tricks, and I wanted to learn how to play poker at a really young age. I've always just liked cards. I just had an affinity for them. Cards and knives, don't know why, was a thing with me as a kid. Collect them, I don't know why. Couldn't tell you. Don't know where I got it from. But yeah, so seeing a character with like, man, maybe that is why I like Westerns. It just hit me. Maybe that's why I like Westerns, and like Jonah Hex and it kind of makes sense now. But yeah, character that flung cards that were energy and he had a staff. Like I loved. Was it Donatello had the staff, right, for the Turtles? Donatello was cool. He was my second favorite after Mikey, because who didn't love Mikey? But yeah, I don't know. It just appealed to me. Just appealed to me.
You can tell us the real reason that you like Gambit. It's the duster.
I was hoping you weren't going to bring it up. I was kind of hoping. I was like, crap, because it's definitely a character with a duster. I like dusters, man. I don't know what it is. Dusters are rad. We discovered that I have a love of dusters the other day, and I do. All the characters I like, they wear dusters at some point.
They wear dusters.
I don't know what it is. I couldn't. It's just this thing where it kind of. I blame Kevin Smith because I love Silent Bob so much. I blame Kevin Smith. That's what it is. That's exactly what it is. It's all Kevin Smith's fault. He made it look so cool.
Do you own a duster?
I do not. I need to now.
I mean,
there's no need for one in Florida.
That's what I was just gonna say. I was like, you live in Florida. When are you gonna wear a duster in Florida?
Yeah, I'm not gonna do it. I mean, I guess
walk outside and melt.
You know what? I need to get it. I should probably do a Kevin Smith Silent Bob cosplay. That's what I should do. That's my excuse for owning a duster now.
Oh my god.
That's gonna be it. Can't grow a beard like him though, unfortunately. That's big satch.
I have 3 dusters. I have black, dark brown, and tan.
See, that's all you need. That's all you need. But yeah, Gambit was always a favorite, especially because, I mean, come on, Rogue. Who doesn't love Rogue?
Yeah, Rogue's such a great character. And
what a cool character.
I love that she steals Captain Marvel's powers. Mm-hmm. Like,
yeah, she was the fact that we didn't, and I know why we didn't get that on screen, or maybe we still. It just, but just
we still could.
We still could in the Hollywood version manner. Maybe we will.
I mean, I would love to see that in Captain Marvel too. I don't know if it's happening or not, but
cool.
I would love to see. Cool. I would love to see Brie Larson get her powers taken by Rogue.
Me too.
I'm sorry. For those of you who don't know, I think they could have done a much better job at casting someone other than Brie Larson as Captain Marvel.
I agree. That movie was not a bad movie, but definitely one of the middle of the road movies for me.
It was for me too.
For sure. It definitely fell. I was like, it's like right up there with Scarlet Witch. Nothing against Scarlet Witch, but like, just kind of fell in the middle.
Oh, WandaVision?
WandaVision for me too. I'm gonna get ostracized for saying this. To me, that was the worst thing Marvel's done, in my opinion, so far. Not saying it's bad, like it's a good show, but in the scope of all the Marvel stuff, for me personally, I know a lot of people like it because of Agatha, and I know a lot of people like it because you actually got to see the Scarlet Witch, like, you know, but like in the book, but like it didn't do it for me.
I thought it was a fun concept, and I liked that it was serving as like a building block, right?
Yeah, and I constantly say that too. I'm like, I like it because of this, like with Hawkeye. I like it because it tied in Kingpin. I like WandaVision because it ties in the multiverse, and you see that you see what's coming for Wanda. Her psyche's breaking. You get to see the setup. I do appreciate that. I completely see it, and I see what they're doing. It just didn't hit the right chords with me, like Falcon and Winter Soldier did, for example. Like, that show was amazing to me.
That one was really good.
The Loki to me was some of the best work they've ever done, in my opinion. Loki was phenomenal. What If was fantastic.
Which season 2 of What If is starting in the summer, I believe.
I can't wait. Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait for more Loki. I want more Kang, dude. I really want more Kang.
I think we're gonna get a lot of Kang.
I can't wait. And then now with the multiverse, I hope we get multiple different versions of mutants. I hope we get callbacks to old X-Men. That's why I said I wanted to watch the old X-Men movies, because I feel like we're going to start to get a lot of callbacks with some of those actors and actresses.
I really hope Deadpool is one of the ones to do that.
I hope they make fun of that Deadpool again. Beat that Deadpool into the ground, the one that had his mouth covered with the blades.
That was like, so bad.
Can we just continuously kill that Deadpool in every movie over and over again, please? Because I hate that. That's the worst Deadpool ever.
Yeah, that Deadpool was bad.
What an abomination.
That one.
Who okayed that?
Someone who does not know Deadpool at all.
It's like the neons in the Batmobile in the Schumacher version. Like, who okayed this? You know what a stealth black car needs? Bright neons.
And I really hope we do get to see Banshee soon. It was really cool to like read about all the stuff he was in. I would love to see him in the MCU. I would love to see them do some really cool stuff with him, and that sort of thing. So I think we potentially could, especially because like in Hawkeye, when Kate Bishop goes to her aunt's house, it's Moira McTaggart.
Right.
So.
Right. The connection's already there.
Yeah. Everything's kind of piecing.
Set up.
Yeah, piecing together. So.
That's what I was saying. Like, and at the very least, I hope we get but I hope it's Banshee. I hope we get Banshee first.
Yeah, it would make sense.
Siren,
it would make sense to do Banshee first and then add Siren in. I think if they would go Siren first, a lot of the people who read the comics would be like, why is Banshee not here? Like, how are you introducing his daughter and not Banshee? So, but I think that's gonna do it for tonight. This hour flew by.
Yeah, we had a lot to talk about this hour for sure.
We did. So we'll figure out who we're going to be doing next week. Thank you guys so much for listening. We really appreciate it. Remember, you can catch us on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, and in the Discord. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next week.
Have a good one.